Hello. Welcome back. Crazy Effing Mommy, episode 128. Happy New Year. First episode of 2023. We're on 3 seasons still. 3 seasons, episode 120. I am the only podcast that does 50 episodes a season. It's insane. I should be on season 10 by now. Anywho, Happy New Year. How was your New Year? How did you celebrate? Did you do it old school, like when the clock strikes midnight, you emptied out the cabinets and started banging around the pots and pans? And you know what's funny about that tradition? Everybody, all the Italians that I know, grew up doing that. On New Year's, they would bang the pots and pans. But most of those people were living in apartment buildings. Was it like, were they living in the tenement, so everybody was banging the pots and pans at New Year's? Or did they just not give a shit and they were just upsetting all the neighbors? I actually think back in the day, everybody was a lot more celebratory for New Year's, right? Like people would have parties. Remember Breakfast at Tiffany's? That's one of the best scenes, right? The party Audrey Hepburn throws in her walk-up, her brownstone walk-up. Remember Mag Wilder with the long black lacquered cigarette holder? She's ashing it. She set somebody else's house on fire. That's the Manhattan I need to live in. That's all I'm saying. These days, people are if they weren't at parties back in the day, they would all gather around the TV, right? And they would watch Dick's Rockin' Eve. Now there's like kids on the iPad, nobody's talking, I don't know. I actually went to a party. I went to Soho House, and it was really nice. They had a New Year's Eve party. Here's the thing. Let's discuss for a second, okay? We bought tickets to this party. I don't remember how much the tickets were. They were like, they weren't cheap. Maybe they were like a couple $100 each, right? I didn't buy them. What are you, crazy? So we bought the tickets. And on the description of the party, it says, Rat Pack celebration, listen to music, from the Rat Pack era, New Year's Eve feast, music, convivial dancing, the whole bit. Get dressed up. I was like, sold. I said, that was the plan. And I, delivered, dressed, we arrived, whatever. The music was house, EDM, whatever, okay? At midnight, there was Frank Sinatra, like impersonator or player, and he did a few songs, a few little songs, maybe a set of 4, and then jumped off the stage, and then it was back to EDM and reggaeton. This is not what I thought I was buying. And then the feast was past hors d'oeuvres. Okay, let's be clear. Maybe at the Soho House, right? Maybe at the bougie Soho House, a feast to these people are past hors d'oeuvres. But to me, tuna tartare on a tortilla chip is not a feast. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, the drinks also, the drinks also weren't included for this price. For $400, I could have went to the Russian tea room and had a 10-course meal and a lot of eye candy of fabulous women in their outfits to look at. You know what I'm saying? Drinks weren't included, so we wound up getting a table, and because there was no other option. It was like either stand around the bar, get drinks, and, talk to people, and then also look at all the single people trying to pick each other up, or get a table, be civilized, a table near the kitchen, I should say, and then keep flagging the waiter over. So that's what we did. And it was fun, but I didn't do the Italian tradition of eating lentils right after midnight. Did you do that? That's actually my fact of the day. Ooh, I dropped a paper. The fact is, fact of the day is, the first New Year celebration dates back 4,000 years ago. They probably weren't banging pots and pans then. They were like banging on their cave walls. But in Italian culture, they say, a lot of the Italians, they eat lentils. That's a tradition. Eat lentils after the clock strikes 12. It brings you good luck in the new year. And it's a tradition that dates back to ancient Rome. I didn't do it. It's also supposed to not only bring you luck in the new year, prosperity, and Italians, hardcore Italians, will gift each other a little pouch of dried lentils. I actually think that's really cute. Like if I have a party, I'm going to do that. That's going to be my thing. I'm probably never going to have a party because my apartment doesn't fit party people. That's not true. That's not true. I could put out a table. I could hold about 20 tightly. I actually love lentils. You know what I've been getting into these days? Red lentils. Do you eat red lentil? So, there's obviously all these different, the green lentils, like they come in the bag, Goya, that's the one that we all use for lentil soup, right? And then there's the black lentils that you'll find sometimes out in salads. Sometimes they refer to those as like the caviar of beans because once they're cooked, they're very shiny, But then there's, red lentils and yellow lentils. Red and yellow are more used in Middle Eastern cultures to make dahls, which is like sort of like a thick, almost like a lentil porridge for lack. That's the wrong word. It's just the porridge is not the right word. But because I'm trying not to eat carbs. Okay, I made something delicious with red lentils the other day. So they come split. And the thing about red lentils is once they're cooked, they kind of mush up. It's not like it's not like the black ones or the green ones where it stays an actual bean. So what I did was I had sauteed just some onions and I think some garlic, ginger. I had lemongrass. I shaved some fresh lemongrass in that. Sauteed that in olive oil. I might have even had like a carrot and a celery in there, like I'm thinking I was making a soup. I don't know. Anyway, after that, I put the lentils in, mixed it all around, put some water, little salt, little pepper, covered the pot, let it boil. Once it came to a rolling boil, I took it off the heat, kept it covered, and let the lentils just, soak and absorb all the water. And it wound up becoming this like a porridge-like texture, but it was good. It was very good. It was like eating pastina-ish, which, by the by, Ronzoni, if you haven't heard, is discontinuing their pastina. What? Why? Is that not a popular shape, Ronzoni? Like, that surprises me. This surprised me. There are so many fugazi shapes of macaroni out there. I mean, have you ever walked down the aisle at Italy? My head explodes. I mean, because what do we know? We know spaghetti and farfalle and fusilli and rigatoni and mezze rigatoni and elbows and I'm forgetting pappardelle and lasagna and pastina and ditalini and the bow ties and then there's like a whole nother fusilli, gemelli. I love gemelli. I like all the pastas that are like really hearty. Like I like all like the fat bastard like shapes of macaroni. I like the gemelli. I like the mezze rigatoni. I like lasagna. There's actually a shape of macaroni that I saw at Italy. It's a coin. It's a flat disc-like coin, and it had like a stamping of something on it. It was very pretty, but it didn't look like it was going to fill me up. But you're stopping pastina? Like, you know what you should stop? Why don't you stop the alphabets? Who's buying the alphabets? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people with small kids. My kids didn't have that. We weren't doing A, B, C, E, F, G in the macaroni bowl. We were doing pastina. And, the thing is about Ronzoni is that it's slightly cheaper than Barilla. So, not happy about that, okay? Not happy about that. And obviously, there's that other brand I told you about that I'm loving that I bought at Costco, Garofalo. Costco sells a pack of 6 of this pasta from Naples, the town Gragnano, which is actually where my family's from. And macaroni, it's so good. It's cheap. It's not cheap like Ronzoni. It's not priced like Barilla. I think for maybe 6 bags at Costco. I don't know, maybe it's like $16 or something. Not a bargain, but it really has a different taste. It's really scrumptious. You have to try it. But I'm disappointed in you, Ronzoni. I'm surprised that you're not selling the pastina. It's the Italian penicillin. Everybody knows that, There's so many other shapes you could cut. I mean, like, I said fusilli. I'm not a big fan of fusilli. I don't know. I don't get any gratification from a fusilli. The only time I use fusilli is in cold pasta salads, and even if I'm doing cold pasta salad, I rather do an elbow. A bow tie. You know? Yeah. All the Italians, we should all get together and just buy up all the ronzoni pastina, get the sales up so they keep it on the shelf. Because, by the by, in the city, pastina is not the easiest shape to find. And sometimes Barilla, sometimes, in the macaroni aisle, they don't have Barilla. So ronzoni is the only other option. Anyway. A lot of people have their own secret sauce to making pastina, Like when I was growing up, my mother just made it, boiled it with butter, maybe a little salt, maybe a little cheese. Now, when I make it for my kids when they're sick, I put I boil it actually in chicken broth, and then I do the little butter and not usually the cheese. Because if they're sick or whatever, I don't want like the dairy clog the throat. I have that problem, so maybe they would have it. I don't know. I'm curious to know how you make yours. Everybody does it different. So I did have a lot of fun this past little break between Christmas and New Year's. Oh my God, you have to go to this thing if you're in the city. We're planning to visit at the Standard Hotel downtown on like Little West 12th Street. They've had this for like the last 10 years. They have a little small ice skating rink. It's like about 40, 50 foot round ice rink. And I went with my friend Janine years ago, like midnight ice skating. They didn't even have skate rentals. Like we went like with our sneakers on, and we were pushing around the little plastic penguins. It was fun. We were young. It was fun. Whatever. So I wanted to do something different with the girls. So I said, you know what? Let's go down to the Standard. It was a special treat. Like after dinner, and it was like 6:30, so it was dark. We'll go ice skating at night, I told them. And we get there, and it wasn't the ice skating rink. It was still the rink, but it was something else, and it was called Bump. And basically what it was big rolling tubes. Like it was like bumper cars, or bumper tubes on ice. And it was so fun. It was like ridiculously fun. It was $20 for 8 minutes, basically $2 a minute. I didn't care. It was great. We had a great time. And, if you're in the area and you're with your family and you want places to go, not spend a fortune because you're in the meatpacking district. Like, there's the Bus Stop Cafe is a diner, like a few blocks and maybe an avenue over. I think it's on 8th or maybe it's on Hudson. That's always reliable. Also, there's Artichoke Pizza on 10th Avenue and maybe like, I don't know, 20th or 18th Street or something. But, you could find the little things. If you're with friends and you want to do the ice bumper, Fig and Olive is always reliable and chic. It's on like one of the side streets, like West 13th. I always forget about that place. You know why? Because the portions are small. You know how I feel about that. I went to Wollman Rink in Central Park with my friend Lindsay. My friend Lindsay, she's a former news anchor in Florida. She has 2 young girls also. They're the cutest little things. And we all went. The 6 of us went. We went ice skating. We did a Serafina pizza after. If you're ever going to go ice skating in New York, meaning at Central Park, Wollman Rink, if you're going to go to Rockefeller Center, even Bryant Park, if they have an option to buy a priority pass, I just think you should take it. Because we were cheapskates. We were like, we're going to just do the skate rental, and then we're going to buy the tickets for the thing. We did it all in advance. It gave us an option to do priority, and it was like $35. And we were like, nah. We were like being like, don't think we're the shit, and we'll get there early. Yeah, no. We show up at 1 o'clock. The line's wrapped around the friggin' park. We waited online for like an hour and a half. Thank God it was a mild day. It wasn't rainy. It wasn't snowing. Although I do like ice skating in the snow in New York City. It's very romantic. But it was great. We had such a fun time. And again, I do get questions in my DMs. I'm coming to the city, whatever. Where should I eat? I have the kids. Serafina Pizza on East 61st Street was where we went. It's between 5th and Madison. right near the rink, Wollman Rink. And the best is if you have kids, they give you a table upstairs. They have paper tablecloths. They give crayons, and you'll die. They let the kids draw on the walls. It's still a beautiful restaurant. Like, they have one section of like old like wine wooden boxes or something, and they let the kids draw. It was perfect, honestly. Perfect. I have no resolutions. That's the other thing. It's just to, like, I told you, be more present. Stop, shut my mouth, stop eating so much. I had my first show of the year at Gotham. That was good. It went well. It was just a quick little spot. This upcoming weekend, I'm actually going to be at Governor's in Levittown, out on Long Island. I'm headlining a show, which is nice. It's called The Bad Moms of Comedy or something. It's honestly, the girl who put it together. She's a new comic. She's sweet, new comic. I think like, maybe a lot of new comics on the show. It'll be fun though. It'll be fun. They're fun Long Island girls. I'm sure the crowd will be great. It's a great night for a show. It's Saturday night, so that's happening. Oh my God, you will absolutely die with this customer service story. So a couple weeks ago, I told you about this brand of shoes that I like, Arche, right? Did I tell you that, or was I telling my mother that? I don't know. Arche is completely the most comfortable shoes like you'll ever wear in your life. And I love to live my life in fashion and fabulousness, and I love sumptuous fabrics, and I love a thin heel, and I love to look good. But you know what? Like, I also run around the city doing spots, taking kids to school, what am I, Carrie Bradshaw? And I'm sorry, in 20 years, I don't want feet full of bunions. Okay, people? So I will spend the money and buy beautiful, comfortable shoes. Arche is the brand. To be honest, I wore them on Christmas Day. My mother even loved them. She's like, "Where'd you get those shoes?" And I told her, they're not cheap. You go on the website. It's like, I don't know, Arche, type Arche in Paris or something, France, to come out. Anyway, French brand. Everything's made by hand. So I'm a size 9. I buy a 40 in Arche, but that doesn't mean that all 40s fit me, because they're made by hand. They're all different. Fine. Okay, let's speed up the story. This is when you know you haven't had enough coffee. I bought a bunch of shoes before Christmas. Like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 pairs of shoes for myself, in hopes that one will fit, from the website, in hopes that one will fit and be comfortable, and I'll ship all the rest back. That's what I did. So the bill comes, and it's like $2,000. But it's fine because I'm returning 4 of them, right? I'm only keeping 1 pair. This is how I like to shop. I try on in the privacy of my own home these days. So, package comes, beautiful red box, beautiful presentation. They put the red shoe box in there, and then they wrap it with the bubble wrap, and then they have the nice receipt. It's just the type of presentation that I love when I order online. Love Shack Fancy, by the way, also does beautiful presentation. You know who doesn't? Bergdorf's. Thank you. They sent me like 4 leopard Christmas balls just rolling around in a box. No tissue, no bubble wrap, anything. And like, really, Bergdorf's? Really? Okay, back to Arche. So, shoes come. Try them on. So excited. The four of them don't fit. Forget that. Whatever. I am an immediate returner, because if I don't do it right then and there, it will sit, collect dust. I don't have time for that. Arche also used to do free returns. Now they have a 14-day, obviously unworn and in the box, return policy. Fine. So I go to do the return, and I see that the brand isn't giving me a shipping label. And I'm like, you're not going to give me an effing shipping label. I'm supposed to pay to ship 4 giant boxes of shoes back myself. Get the hell out of here. Okay? So I just wanted to get an idea of how much this costs. Took a picture of the boxes, walked over to UPS, which is kind of close to my house. They tell me it's going to be about $150 to $200 to ship the shoes back. Okay, people. This is not happening. I am not paying $200 to take the shoes back. So what I do is I get in a cab with the shoes and I go to the store. And I say, I need to return these. I bought them online. Here's the receipts, the whole thing. You know what they say? We don't take online returns back in the store. Out fucking rage it. Okay, fine. So they tell me the woman who I need to deal with. Oh, well, can't wait to get on the phone with this broad. Her name is Gina. Sorry, Gina, for outing you, but it was the worst customer service I've ever had in my life. Okay, so, and you just barely made it slightly better in the very end. So I emailed Gina. Gina's out of the office for 2 weeks because it's been over Christmas and New Year's. It gives me her 2 out-of-office people. Guess what? The out-of-office replacements for Gina, they told me they couldn't help me, and they directed me back to her. So I had to wait. So, of course, in my head, I'm like, this is all a scam, so they can keep, all the money for the shoes, like cock-blocking my return, and then I'm stuck with 5 pairs of shoes that I can't even afford, like the whole thing. So Gina was returning on January 3rd. Her out-of-office said, I sent this lady an email every 2 days because I wanted, not being annoying, just saying, hey, Gina, just wanting to know if you've checked your email while you're out of the office. Sorry to be a pain. I just really want to get these shoes back. Can you please have somebody, or can you generate me a shipping label so I can just box them and send them off to you? Those were the emails. Very nice, very friendly. But I needed a paper trail, because when I go to Amex and say that these little assholes, didn't let me return the merchandise even though I was in contact, right? Or they wouldn't, they have unfair business practices, whatever. I need a paper trail. No response. Radio silence. Fine. January 3rd comes around. She calls me. I was on another call. I hung up on the other call, and she tells me, she goes, great news. Great news. You don't have to bring the shoes to UPS. What you can do, wait for this, you can bring them back to the store. And you can bring them back to the store. And the store will only charge you $40 to $50 to send them back to the warehouse. I'm like, you want me to bring shoes that I bought at your store to your store, and then I have to pay so you can send the shoes back to your store's warehouse? That's coming out of my money. I said, that's absolutely wrong. I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this on my podcast. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to do. And I gave her some numbers so she understands that it's not like this is a podcast of 3 people listening. I said, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call American Express Platinum, and I'm going to attach the 8 emails that I sent along with the receipts and the pictures of the perfectly pristine shoes in boxed and bubble wrap, okay? I said, and third, I'm going to call the business bureau because this isn't right. This isn't right. She was so beyond with this whole response. After a little back and forth, and I felt bad because I said, and I was saying, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I know it's not your fault, but there has to be something you could do. I know there's something you could do. And she said, the company's based in France, and the French headquarters said, they're making the customers now, moving forward, pay for all the returns by themselves. The shoes are expensive enough the customers probably could afford it. Could you imagine? She wound up saying, you know what, Elyse, you're right. I was out of the office. You weren't able to get in touch with me. Nobody else was able to help you. I was like, yeah, there was a loophole in your out of office system. So can you do something? At least can you compensate me for the poor experience that I had? So she said, bring them to the store. Just drop them off. We'll pick up the shipping costs back to our warehouse. Thank you. And that's what I did. Can you even die? Now, the problem is that they're like the most comfortable shoes ever. The second problem is that now the next time I want to buy a pair of those shoes, I'm going to have to send Chris and do the transaction for me or something. Because I've mortified myself. But what? You can't, what's so shocking to me? It's like we talked about a few weeks ago. It's like the restaurant's not putting bread on the table, or they're charging you $10, $15 for a bread basket. You don't appreciate the business of people's business. You're taking advantage. I went to a restaurant. I posted about it on online. over the course of the break. Il Tonello, Midtown West, old school restaurant. Has been there for 100 years. I sat down. I had a meal. They brought, I didn't have to ask. They brought breadsticks and bread and butter and olive oil, and they lemons and limes and like all perched on the edge of the glass. Red little straws for dessert. They offered me limoncello, sambuca, a coffee. They brought out biscotti. None of this was part of the paying transaction. They just appreciated the fact that we were there spending money. That's how businesses should operate. Just my opinion. Anyway, someone on TikTok wrote to me and they said, am I reading Stephanie Plum's books? Do you know these books? The Stephanie Plum book series? I don't. She said there's a character in there in the books, Connie Rizzoli. She said it reminds me of you. I think that was the name. She said, reminds me of you, or you are what I picture her to be like. I said, oh, you're so sweet. So anyway, I said, I'll read the book. I'll read one of the books, sure. Like as if I have time. But so I said, which one should I get? She told me, there's 29. She might not have kids, this lady. There's 29 books in the series. They're like big novels. The one that to start with, she said, to start with One for the Money. She said there was a movie that came out a few years ago. Katherine Heigl was in it. She said the book is way better. So if you're looking for a good novel to read, One for the Money, Stephanie Plum. I ordered it, obviously, on Amazon. But I don't know when I'm actually going to have a chance to read it because I'm in the very finishing last touches of my own book. Yay. Comes out at the end of March, hopefully. It might be early April. I hope not. My book has been such a labor of love. Oh my God. I have an editor. I'm self-publishing. I could have had a publishing house publish it, but a lot of the big ones, they wanted you to have like bazillion followers, which, sorry. And I don't know if I told you, like 50 Shades of Grey was also self-published, also Harry Potter. So take that, you publishing house assholes. Thank you. Okay. So I have an editor, but the editor, I wrote the book, the editor read it, he started making, notes, edits, and blah, blah. But if I wanted to make things, my life easy, I could have been like, all right, let him edit it, and then it's done. But I want, when people read the book, I want them to feel like I'm almost reading it to them. I want them to be able to hear my voice. That's a good book, is when you hear somebody's voice, in the writing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you pick up any Jerry Seinfeld book, you just hear him reading it. You hear him saying these words. So I'm like literally on like my 7th edit. And people say, how do you have the time? How do I have the time? At night, late at night, after the kids go to sleep, I devote a couple hours late, and I sit on the couch with my tea in my robe with the laptop, and that's it. I'm laser focused. You can get a lot done if you have a schedule. If you're scheduled, That's that. Read an article on CNBC, popped up on my iPhone. How much money is it considered to be middle class in America? I didn't even want to click on it, to be honest. I was going to be depressed because, if you bought a gallon of milk last year, the same price for that gallon of milk last year, this year you're getting half a gallon because, inflation's outrageous. I was looking at houses just for fun. It was mortgage rates. It was like 6.5%, 7%. Like, I can't even. Anyway. In New York, in the New York area, New York City, also considered Philly, New Jersey, like the tri-state, Newark. On the low end of middle class, you have to be making $56,000 a year. On the high end, to be a high-end middle class income, you have to be making $169,000. I think those numbers seem about right. You know what was shocking? D.C. In Washington, D.C., the low end of middle class was $74,000. The high end was $221,000. And I have the chart printed out right here. They all, it was LA, 55,000, low end, high end, 165. They all kind of had the same ish numbers. DC was really stuck at. Boston also was pretty high. Boston, 57,000 low end middle income, high end 202,000. It's these. I think this was, I don't know what was it, Pew Research? I don't know who did this, but the research. But the numbers are always skewed because everyone knows that real estate, like if you look at just Manhattan proper, everyone knows that the real estate in Manhattan is outrageous. But you're factoring in some of the other areas that are in New York that are so much less expensive to live in. So it brings the average, salaries down. Because I'm sorry, Boston, like $202,000 in Boston is considered upper middle class. In Manhattan, I feel like that number would be like doubled. Like I'm a pauper. Like what do I care? I mean, I'm just sharing. But I will. You know what? But they did say that half of the adult U.S. population considers themselves or fits into the upper middle class, and don't feel bad if you don't have those numbers, because they also said anybody, numbers aside, anybody that's not living paycheck to paycheck is also considered middle class. Let me tell you something. I have investments, we talked about money and stuff on the phone, but I'm not making so much money where I can't live check to check. I need my checks, okay? When my check comes in, like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not like, okay, yay, now I could buy food. It's not that bad, but it's like, okay, my check is here. Great, thank God. Like, because what I do without that? Like, I rely on it, Anyway, product of the week. I talked about the bed of nails, right? That I got my sister and then I bought one for myself. Well, they have a pillow. It's a roller pillow for your neck. Bed of nails on Amazon. I just ordered it like butter. I sit down. After I do my book editing, after that's done, I get my bed of nails pillow, this little round rolly round pillow that, is in the shape of like a cylinder, and I just put it, I sit up right on the couch, I just put it behind my neck, I roll my neck back on it, and all these little plastic pricklies, they just give me like this weird acupuncture, like faux acupuncture fix. It's good. It's very good. Anywho, okay, I hope I see you soon. By the way, if you've been DMing me on Instagram, if you do, this is like new-ish, if you do Instagram stories, which I'm trying to do, it pushes all of your DMs way, way down, so I don't always see them. So you might have to re-message me or message me on Facebook Messenger. Just an FYI, I don't want anybody to ever think I'm like not answering. That's not my style. Okay. Quote of the day by Emily Dickinson. We turn not older with years, but newer every day. And that's it, people. First podcast of 2023. This is Crazy Effing Mommy. I'm Elyse DeLucci. We're here in the greatest city of the world, Manhattan. I love to love you, baby, and I hope I talk to you and see you very soon.